Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Reed Option, and I'm here presenting your 3 p.m. Eastern NAGA broadcast. We have the Memphis Liberty taking on the Raleigh Royals in this Week 1 showdown of the Southeast Division. Looks like the experts are pretty 50-50, giving Raleigh the edge by, a couple percentage points. So let's see how things will go down here at the train depot. I missed you guys. Missed commentating, missed these exciting matchups. And I am stoked to see how these two teams look here in Season 3 of the North American Gridiron Association. Obviously, Season 2 is when the big expansion happened. That was last season. Season 1 is found on this channel as well. But you won't see me in Season 1. I came around last season. Myself and Cole have been assisting the Commissioner Pasta. But enough with my rambling. Here also, Tory Wade, with the return to the 16, is Axis 24. Season 3 is all on Axis 24, as I'm sure you've heard many times already. Look at all this new UI. You get to see the starting lineups without me even having to say them. But you already know his name. There he is, Jalen Weathers, leading this Memphis Liberty team. The handoff to Marquise Collins, hurdling a man, getting tackled after a gain of 4. Now, this matchup, Memphis, they are 0-2 against Raleigh last season. Raleigh sweeping them, and Memphis is already 1-3 away at home. Or, 1-3 away. Raleigh 2-2 at home. So Raleigh has everything pointing in their favor. Although Marquise Collins is doing his best to make sure that I eat my words. Looks like Jesse Lane's coming in. Yes, that is Jesse Lane, acquired from Albuquerque this offseason. There's a couple more names that you'll see that were acquired. There was 8 acquisitions to this starting squad, released to the 53-man roster. There's Josh Lemmer with the handoff there. I believe he was just acquired as well. 9 acquisitions, 4 offense, 5 defense. You also have Jalen Sawyer, acquired from Raleigh. It's revenge game already. And Michael Frierson, defensive tackle, drafted in round 5. Raheem Nolan, free agent signing. Jamal Fellows and Dante Moss also signed. And, of course, they acquired Thomas King and Jackson Tomlin from Virginia Beach in a trade. Thomas King, of course, being a tight end. Jackson Tomlin, a free safety. Another handoff to Collins on 3rd down. Collins breaking 2 tackles. Eventually being tackled, but not before he gained the 1st down. Looked like that was Brad Goodrich on the tackle. Middle linebacker, Brad Goodrich. Handoff to Lane. A lot of handoffs here from this Memphis Liberty team. Looks like out will come Jacob Fraser. Jacob Fraser was a round 2 pick 27 for Raleigh. Their draft picks are all over their squad. You'll see them whenever they take the offensive side. I'll announce it whenever they show up. Looks like a big tackle for loss with Isaiah Bird. Great tackle there by DeMarcus Grubbs. 3rd and long. Weathers in shotgun. 2 guys deep. Big catch by Jalen Sawyer. 37-yard gain. And Sawyer is having already a great revenge game early. Although that was his lone catch so far, I'm sure that will not be the first time, or will not be the last time that we see Jalen Sawyer. Weathers back to pass again. Out to his right to Collins. Stiff-arming a man into oblivion. And he'll be brought down after getting a 1st down by Devontae Gladney. That is another acquisition from Raleigh. That he was traded from Tucson. Weathers dropping back, rolling out to his right, throwing it away. Yeah, this Raleigh defense, last season, they were the worst. They were the worst defense last year. Sorry, not Raleigh. Their offense was the worst. Their defense was the third best. My bad. I was looking at their offense. Their offense was the worst. Their defense was the fifth best. But they've replaced 12 of their defenders on their starting squad and 8 of their offensive people. I mean, 21 out of their 53-man squad is new this season. A lot of replacements, but touchdown, Lemmer, the fullback, Josh Lemmer, getting his first touchdown of the season. I believe first touchdown ever for Memphis, formerly from San Antonio. And Bueller. AC Bueller will kick it through. Extra point is good. But big moves already for Josh Lemmer. But as I was saying, Raleigh replaced just under half of their 53-man squad. Despite, you know, most of the team being pretty solid. I mean, their offense was the worst, but their defense was one of the best. So we'll see what their newly reconstructed team looks like here on this opening drive. I interviewed Logan, the owner of the Raleigh Royals, and he said that he you know, acquired George Colvin, the new running back. You see him number 5. That was his main acquisition that he seems was significant. He says everybody else, you know, wasn't a major move. He says that he's starting Colvin, making sure that he's the guy moving forward. He is his starting running back this week, ahead of Chris Bond and Devontae Leslie. Leslie being a new acquisition as well. You see John Gunter at the top of your screen, tight end, Pro Bowl tight end last season for the Iowa Storm. And that was him being targeted there on that incomplete pass. Jake Britton 0 for 1. Might have to lean a little heavily on this rookie, round 1 pick 15, George Colvin, and lean on him they do for that first down. Yeah, their draft picks, George Colvin, Jacob Dutch, round 1 pick 17. Obviously, Jacob Fraser, you saw him already, round 2 pick 27. And wide receiver Antoine Floyd, round 7 pick 165. Everybody else is on the practice squad that they drafted, but a lot of free agent signings, aside from that one trade for Devontae Gladney, for this Royals team to fill in that 53-man squad. I don't know if they just decide to release people or trade people away. I did not do extensive research. Looks like we have a flag on the play, but Britton will be sacked, and it'll be brought back due to a holding. Britton dropping back to pass after that free first down. Caught by Colvin. He'll be tackled after a gain of 9. By Vince Kelly, man who was given that holding call last drive. Britton wide open. George Colvin, middle of the field. And Raleigh is cutting through this Liberty defense. Memphis, they had a decent defense last season, you know, middle of the pack. Same for their offense. You know, they really turned things around when Coach Nick came in midway through the season. Made the playoffs, although they didn't make it to the championship. They didn't start off strong last season. In an interview with Nick, he said that the main thing he can do is play well, you know. Just their first 2 games are big tests with Raleigh and Virginia Beach. If they can hold up well with at least one of those 2, then he'll have confidence going forward. And there's Gray out with a head injury. Expected to return, though. Lamar Gray, outside linebacker out of UCLA. Another flag there. Encroachment. Trayvon Webb. Can't let the penalties eat you up. You know, you can't let those determine your success as a team, or the lack thereof. Britton dropping back, throwing deep down the middle to Gunter, and he was in double coverage. 4th and 2, looks like they'll have to bring him out. Nate, the great Gilroy, field goal kicker. He was the highest scoring kicker last season by far, accumulating about 50% of Raleigh's points, and that 46-yarder is like nothing to him. Fantastic kick there by Nate Gilroy. Now this week 1 is a lot of division rivalries, a lot of games with I believe every single game is with, you know, within the division. Upon asking Nick about facing Raleigh and how the atmosphere changes in the locker room, he says that it'll be crucial because the atmosphere is always tense with divisional games. The season opener being the biggest one doesn't help. But at least he says you're getting it out of the way. But a lot of nerves heading into week 1 already. And that divisional game doesn't make it any better. Upon asking Logan, says that he believes Memphis coming into Raleigh will have a hard time. They're going to have to, they're going to make some mistakes, and he believes that the no-fly zone and apparently Parrish getting that tackle for loss in are going to capitalize on Memphis's mistakes as they did last year. And so far that seems to be the case as Memphis goes 3 and out. Although Raleigh has capitalized on more so Memphis being penalized on the defense so far. Here's Cashman with the punt. What a boot. And looks like Jalen Madison will get just a couple yards there up to the 49. Great field position for the Royals. Britton dropping back to pass. Deep pass to his right. Incomplete, intended for Vince Bullard. And it looks like Lamar Gray will return to the field. Pistol formation. Hand off to Colvin to the outside. He had a little bit of freedom there. Brought down by Vince Kelly. Vince Kelly everywhere today. Dropping back again is Britton. Intended once again for Bullard, and it is incomplete. 4th and 2. Do they have the ability to have Gilroy kick this? I mean, this would be a 60-something yarder, so they will opt to bring in John Marston, another one of their free agent signings, one of the studs, and you can see why they brought him in. Downed inside the 10. Memphis still leading just before the end of the first. Yeah. Under center, Weathers dropping back to pass. Little screen pass, Marquise Collins, but he will be torpedoed. Unfortunately, there is a face mask call on Cameron Parrish. Stephen Dunn's play will be for nothing. Defense is committing penalties today. You don't want to see it give the other team more opportunities, because that would have been, a pin inside the 4-yard line, Marquise Collins this time not getting pinned back, gaining 19 yards instead. And that's what you got to do if you're Memphis. You know, you've got to capitalize on the mistakes, just as Logan said he would do against Nick. Man, two great coaches, two great teams. Jesse Lane will be brought down in the backfield. -4. Charles Pope on the tackle. Upon asking Logan if he had any inspirations for coaches, he said that he doesn't really look up to anyone, but, you know, he believes that it's not on the coach, but it's on the players. You know, if you have great guys, they play great, and he's always trusted his guys. Oh my goodness, speaking of guys you can trust, Torrey Wade gaining 43 yards just before the first quarter came to a close, and Memphis will open up the second quarter with great field position just outside the red zone. Marquise Collins almost being stopped in the backfield. Still stopped in the backfield regardless by Grubbs. 2nd and 11. The no-fly zone gonna try to stop this star-studded receiver room. Almost picked off, but Baker was able to pull it in and get out of bounds to stop the clock for whatever reason. I guess the clock keeps ticking. Thought that the clock was gonna stop. I think that was Bridges on the blown coverage there. Play action. Sacked. And the home crowd loves that. Robert Hale. The veteran. Out of Springfield, Tennessee. Hand off to Collins, and once again, he'll get no gain. Courtesy of Brad Goodrich. 3rd and goal, and ideally Raleigh will hold them to a field goal and, you know, maybe cause a turnover here on this play. Play action again for the end zone off the hands of Devontae Gladney. Great acquisition for the no-fly zone. And here comes Bueller. Bueller will kick it up, and it will be good. 29-yarder. 10-3. It looks like offensive lineman got hurt there. Sam Webb. Very young center. Memphis got from Salt Lake City. Last season, Salt Lake City drafted him in round 1 and traded him away. Shame to see him get banged up. Great return there to the 23. And this Royals offense will look to tie things up. Britton with plenty of time in the pocket gets sacked. There he is, Dante Moss. One of the free agent signings that Memphis got. I believe Moss used to be, yes, a part of Iowa. A couple pieces on this defense from Iowa. They also have Trayvon Webb, formerly from Iowa, on this D-line. So, borrowing some greats. That defensive end tandem definitely going to do some damage here against the Royals. And Britton, intending it for Redmond, will come up short. 4th and 9, and Raleigh will be forced to punt it away once again. John Marston hoping to pin him deep. And that'll be fielded by Jalen Pinkerton. Nice little cut there, but tackled by Redmond. Man who could not haul in that catch to end the Royals' drive. And this Memphis offense, high regards from Nick in the interview that I You know, I asked him about all of his new acquisitions. He said that his offense has the potential to be extremely dynamic, with 2 great running backs, an above-average tight end room, and one of the best wide receiver rooms. And there's Torrey Wade representing it. Touchdown, Memphis! And Memphis will go up 2 scores here over Raleigh to finish off that statement from Nick. He said he believes that those pieces will catapult their team into a great season. And right he is. As you see, Torrey Wade, like I said, representing that top-tier wide receiver room. So Raleigh has their work cut out for them. Not going to be easy to come back from a 2-score deficit. I mean, last season, you know, Raleigh put up 289 yards per game. Memphis put up 405. So, you know, the opponent spread for Memphis. Oh, but there's Tyrese Redmond redeeming himself after last drive dropping that pass. But, of course, both teams have let up about, you know, 400 yards per game. Raleigh putting up less points per game, but also allowing way less. So Raleigh's just been known to have shorter yardage in games, but, you know, it all depends on what these 21 new acquisitions on the offense have done for Raleigh. Because, you know, are they going to help, you know, make a change and get more points per game, allow less points per game? You know, this is an entirely new Royals team that we're looking at. And speaking of new, George Colvin tearing away 28 yards, busting into the red zone. And Raleigh will have moved the chains and have 4 new opportunities to get a score because they are guaranteed one. There is the rookie, Jacob Dutch. 22-year-old out of Lafayette. Britton not doing too hot on the percentage. But it looks like he might have hit a hot streak here. There's Bullard, the commonly targeted receiver, gaining 4 yards there. 3rd and 5 for Raleigh. Britton dropping back to pass, looking to his right almost immediately, and it was tipped in the air. Was surprised the receiver didn't make an effort to go for it. Great job by Tremaine Ball hopping in there and disrupting the play. And I mean, the field goal by Gilroy, he can do that in his sleep. 28-yarder is good. Still down by 2 scores though. But points are points, especially, you know, 5 minutes before halftime. And you're halfway through the second quarter. Just gotta be able to stop these guys. Torrey Wade stiff-arming the first man. Being brought down at the 23. Tackled by Alex Gainey, linebacker. And out trots the Memphis Liberty in I formation. Marquise Collins avoiding the tackle in the backfield. Gain of 3 on the play. A lot of running from this backfield here today. And it's not just Marquise Collins. It's Jesse Lane and Isaiah Byrd. And also former Virginia Beach Mariner Dwayne Copeland. Saw him in that late season, I believe that was week 8, game against Richmond to try to earn himself a roster spot. Clearly, the owner of the Virginia Beach Mariners, he definitely did not like the performance. There's Jesse Lane converting that 3rd down. and gaining 11 yards on it. In comes DeMarcus Hughes. Another, of course, I mean, who isn't a free agent signing or acquisition from the Royals this past offseason. False start on Jalen Sawyer. Back them up a little bit. 1st and 15. But, yes, DeMarcus Hughes from NC State acquired. He was let go by Albuquerque. They did not renew his contract. Weathers dropping back under pressure, chucking it deep to Wade, who is, at that point, double covered. Definitely going to see a lot more coverage on Wade after those huge catches. Weathers, hell of a stat line already. Collins running out to the outside, pushing for as many yards as he could, gaining 7 on the play. 3rd and 8. This time, Weathers will be in shotgun. Caught by Lane for a first, but there's a flag on the play. Pass interference, and that will surely be declined. Great first down by Jesse Lane. Dropping back once again, Weathers. Plenty of time. Almost intercepted. Looked like that was off the hands of Jalen Madison. Scary going up against this no-fly zone. Anytime you see it approach one of those defenders, you know, it's scary, especially if you're, you know, the quarterback. And, I mean, hey, you know, all of us in the audience, we are definitely scared by that sight, you know, especially you Memphis Liberty fans. If you're a Raleigh Royals fan, anybody in this crowd, then you love to see that, but you prefer to see him get a pick off of that. Lane stiff-arming Goodrich, but being brought down before he could get the first. That might be field goal territory. I don't know. Will they bring out Bueller or Cashman? And Casey Bueller will attempt the 52-yarder. And it is up, and it is good. Sneaks in, 51-yarder to help maintain this 14-point lead over the Royals. And Memphis is maintaining dominance in this game. Redmond, just before 2 minutes, returning it to the 20. The 21. I remain corrected once again. And Colvin will fight for 2 yards just before the 2-minute warning. Chris Bond will come in to relieve him. Britton handing it off to Bond. Bond also fighting for yards. Gains 7 on the play. And Memphis will burn their first timeout. Hoping to stop them here, I'm sure. Getting a little confident. But confidence is what you want to exude if you are Memphis. And Nick is certainly showing confidence. Let's see if it'll pay off. Wide open, Marcellus Walker. A little bit too much confidence. Looks like there was a gap in that coverage, that cover 2 invert. Amazing play, and that's exactly what you want if you're Raleigh. Surprised they didn't burn a timeout there. I'm definitely not surprised Memphis didn't. Memphis isn't going to burn a timeout before the end of the half. Another busted coverage. Gladney almost getting the touchdown. And Tremaine Ball was sure to stop that, and obviously now we'll see Jamal Fellows as another free agent signing in this game. Jamal Fellows, former Baton Rouge Redbird. Britton under pressure. Touchdown Royals! And Marcellus Walker, the man of the drive, shortening that lead just a bit. And Raleigh will be down just by 1 touchdown. All 3 timeouts remaining. Will we see another score before the half? And Gilroy kicks the extra point through. Kickoff from Gilroy. Let's see what Wade can make of it. And he'll get stopped very promptly by Amari Lawson at the 15-yard line. I tell you what, these speedy defenders for Raleigh, with the combination of Nate Gilroy booting it all the way, to the middle, towards the back of your end zone, that is a scary kickoff combination. There's another former Mariner, Brendan Baker, getting a 2-yard gain. Weathers motioning Lemmer, dropping back, and Lemmer will be the man to gain 6 yards there, and Raleigh will reciprocate the move shown by Memphis just a drive earlier by calling a timeout on 3rd down. Let's see if it bites them in the butt like it did to Memphis, and it won't. Lemmer, but will he get forward progress on that? He won't. Made too many football moves before getting tackled, and you can't challenge it. It would be under review, but looks like the box will not review it. Cashman with the punt. Will Raleigh score before the half? Here comes Jalen Madison. 1 timeout remaining for Raleigh. I at least expect Gilroy to get 3 points here. We'll see what they do. Britton dropping back. Plenty of time. Marcellus Walker once again pulling through for this Raleigh offense. Britton in shotgun with fullback on the left, running back on the right once again. Down the middle to Bullard. 28 yards, but the clock will tick. Britton under center, and he will spike it just in time. But let's see what they decide to do. Will they take the field goal or risk it and go for a touchdown? And they will call out the MVP, honestly. If it wasn't Matt McDonough, it would have been Nate Gilroy clearing the netting on that field goal. 20-16. And that is a 1 touchdown, and you're in the lead. So once again, Nate Gilroy accounting for over 50% of Raleigh's points. And who can blame them? If you have that talent, use it. It's like Justin Tucker on the Ravens. Raleigh losing their only 2 games last season at home does not bode well for Memphis. But Memphis, with this insanely electric offense, heading into the half, what an equal second quarter, what an explosive second quarter. And let's go ahead and start it. I didn't give myself enough time to refill my water. I am wasting a lot of oxygen, and I am wasting a lot of breath and a lot of energy on this insanely, intense game. Raleigh getting the ball at the half is just perfect for Raleigh. And Redmond will take it up to the 23. Upon asking Nick in our interview this week about halftime, you know? What kind of strategies does he have to reinvigorate the team? What are the halftime talks when your team isn't meeting expectations? And he said, you know, the important thing to do is focus up. You know, it's a revenge game against Raleigh, specifically this time. And, you know, you can't get in your head too much going into halftime. You know, they've allowed 16 points, but, you know, you can't let that get to you. Great first down catch by Walker. We'll see if Memphis maintains resilience against this Royals team. Britton dropping back to pass. A lot of receivers downfield. He'll be caught by the fullback, Rakeem Cannon. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Cannon was a running back, but Raleigh is deciding to roll with less of a blocking fullback and more of a catching fullback and rushing fullback. And it seems like that strategy might pay off given their play style. 2nd and 6 after that short gain by Colvin. Britton's stats are not looking so, you know, dismal this half. Only 5 incompletions. Just had a rough first 2 drives. And there the rookie, Colvin, out of Troy. There he is again. First down. Britton motioning the tight end. Let's see if Gunter can get a touchdown here. Oh, got a hand in there. Who was that defender? I want to say that was Raheem Nolan. He's like a depth piece, you know? It might have been Nolan. It might have been Tremaine Ball. Regardless, it was one of those corners on this, you know, on this pretty solid, newly built Memphis defense. They have a lot of stars. Not a lot of depth, but they have a lot of stars. And, you know, as long as they maintain an injury-free season, that shouldn't be an issue. Great blockers for Colvin as he pushes almost for the touchdown. 1st and goal from the inch line. And I fully expect a Chris Bond touchdown here. Motioning Gunter out. I don't expect a pass here. It is a run. Chris Bond getting stopped in the backfield. The veteran linebacker Lamar Gray on the tackle. Ooh, he's motioning Colvin out. And he will throw to him. Touchdown! Royals, and they take the lead for the first time here in the entire game halfway through the 3rd quarter. And there they are. Your Raleigh Royals here at home gaining the lead. This is the exact game you want to see as a commentator. And I mean, as a sports fan in general, I mean, if you don't have a stake in this game, if you aren't a Memphis fan or a Raleigh fan, you know, you just want to see a good game. Just took Raleigh a little bit to get, you know, their gears turning, a little bit to really get into it. I mean, obviously, Raleigh coming off of a great season. I believe they made it all the way to the championship last year, or last season, against Virginia Beach. If I'm not mistaken, that was them. Said being a former playoff team in my interview with Logan, I said, being a former playoff team, how do you prepare for your team to face the best effort from every opponent each week? Which, I mean, that's what you get as a top-of-the-league team. I mean, the Eagles didn't lose to the Jets because the Jets thought they were, you know, the Panthers, you know. But Logan's answer was a good one. He said, practice, practice, practice. That's how you prepare, you know, 30-minute-long practices every day, minimum, for everybody, including the bench. And he said that, you know, he trusts his play calling because, you know, everyone's got to practice, because if one person fails, they all fail. And I think that it's been a great team effort here in, you know, the second and third quarters from the Royals to make sure they don't fail. And there it is! Just takes one person to change things. Stephen Dunn with a pivotal interception. And Raleigh will immediately come out in a 5 wide receiver set. Great catch there. Rookie Antoine Floyd. Was surprised we saw him today. Wow. Antoine Floyd. Great debut by these rookies. Although, speaking of rookies, there's Michael Frierson. Round 5 pick 113. All these rookies. This draft class, I'm not sure if you guys have been paying attention, whether in the NAGA channel, if you're with us. If you're not, please do. You can find our link. I feel like we should put it in the description, but it's in the Axis Football channel. You can find it in the designated NAGA text channel. But the draft class was, you know, star-studded. There was a lot of great potential in the draft class, and you know, the I lost my train of thought. Another sack there by Dante Moss. Hand off to George Colvin. Oh my goodness, and he breaks free for the touchdown. And the script has flipped. Raleigh is up by 2 scores. Once down by 2 scores. Wow. How many unanswered points is that? And George Colvin, the rookie, has 153 all-purpose yards. What a game for him. And Gilroy will kick it back to Memphis. And they need to get something going here. And that is Wade. Up to the 15. But I don't know what I was saying earlier, but, you know, if you like what you see and you're interested in this league and being a part of it, I think we're at a league-high team ownership percentage. I think only 6 teams are left unclaimed. So, I mean, if you want to be a team owner of one of these teams, they all have potential. They all have their pros and cons. I'm an owner. I won't say of which team, but it's fun, and it's fun to watch, fun to be a part of. Whoa, and Weathers under pressure will throw it away. I like this year in Axis 24, you know, not a sponsor, but heck, I mean, what else do you consider a sponsor than being the platform that this league is built upon? Look at all this new UI here in Axis 24. I mean, look at the O-line, D-line play. It's very dynamic. Look at the new, smarter QB AI. I mean, great catch by Torrey Wade, gain of 22. I mean, you know, this is just... It's great. It's great. And you can't say there's no defense. There's plenty of sacks. Can't say there's no offense. Plenty of points. I mean, we saw an interception, too. I mean, it's pretty realistic simulation football. I mean, if you look at the stats at the end of the game, I mean, how many plays per game does the NFL run? How many yards per game does the NFL get? I mean, it's pretty consistent, despite the heavy reliance on running backs. I mean, I don't think we see that as much in the NFL. I mean, despite, you know, Alvin Kamara existing and Saquon Barkley existing and Christian McCaffrey existing. You know what? This is pretty comparable to professional leagues and just as exciting to watch. I'll get off my NAGA, you know, glazing that I'm doing right now. 3rd and 3. Crucial 3rd down for Memphis. I mean, we're talking about penalties playing part in the game. I mean, these guys are down by 10. They've had 4 penalties against them that were accepted that total, you know, 30 yards. I mean, that's a lot compared to having 1 penalty against Raleigh for 15 yards.
Go.
Weathers couldn't get away in time. Basically back where he started. Robert Hale, great 9-yard sack there. Insane. And Weathers once again will drop back, this time playing it safe. Jalen Sawyer. I mean, I thought we'd see him more today. I think that was his 2nd or 3rd catch. 3rd and 15. They are in field goal range. This is a deep field goal, though. Very deep field goal. So, motioning the running back out to the left. Down the middle. Intended for, who was that? Isaiah Bird. Or no, Marquise Collins. Intended for Marquise Collins. And they'll punt it. Oh my goodness. I mean, we still got a whole quarter to go. And he barely misses the Kaufman corner, and that'll cost him. I mean, George Cashman is a great punter, but man. Will Memphis fall 0-3 to Raleigh? George Colvin getting stopped in the backfield. Great stop by Trayvon Webb. Here it breaks through the linebacker. And Britton will be brought down another negative 11 yards. That was Michael Wells on the sack to close out the 3rd quarter. And Raleigh has, I believe, been the only team to score in the 3rd quarter. So there's a nice little stat there for today's game. Handing it off to avoid getting another sack. Colvin will make some room for John Marston. Marston will punt it away. Fielded by Pinkerton. He'll make it up to midfield already. They're basically back where they were when they punted it. If I'm Memphis, I mean, I invest in Casey Bueller's training. I mean, if you don't trust him to make a 58-yarder, you don't have a reliable kicker in the NAGA. So, Marquise Collins immediately getting at least 10 yards, 23 yards, and runs out of bounds. Perfect start to this drive. Under center, Weathers dropping back. Little screen pass to Collins, and he'll shake off the first defender and gain 2 on the play. It's like DeMarcus Hughes will come in. for the defense. Up, flag on the play, might be a free play. Great one-handed snag by Lemmer. Gain of 7 potentially. Offsides, I'd accept. Yeah, I mean, come on. Hand off to Collins. Sheds the first tackle. Gets brought down by Ramirez. And Jesse Lane will come in to potentially be the one to run it for this first down here. You want a touchdown, but you'll accept a field goal at this point. Intended for... Oh, that would have been such a good revenge touchdown by Jalen Sawyer. But they'll have to settle for a field goal by Casey Bueller. Man, and Weathers is looking just about equal with Britton today. I thought it was going to be flipped. I thought Weathers was going to have a much better day than Britton. I mean, typically he does. I guess we see how equal these two teams really are. What different approaches these coaches have. You know, Nick being a little more aggressive with acquiring stars, and I mean Raleigh just focusing on, you know, supplementing who you have. I mean, I see these guys are both pretty similar. Oh, false start, Tyrese Redmond, but the coaches have different approaches. So I think from where they started to where they are, you know, it's funny where they ended up. Raleigh started off, you know, pretty bad in season 1, worked their way by using essentially Nick's approach in season 2, and now season 3, here they are, pretty much the same. Go! Another flag, maybe a free play. Marcellus Walker hoping that it's against Memphis. Going the 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown potentially for Raleigh. And it was on Memphis. Declined. Touchdown Raleigh. And that essentially puts away the game. I mean, wow. 6 catches for 158 yards. That is an explosive player. I mean, that is Jordan Addison. That is, you know, when your only catches are huge. Reminds me of that one Randy Moss stat line. I mean, name a Vikings receiver. Just any of them. And that is who Marcellus Walker is. And Torrey Wade getting probably the best return we've seen from Memphis today. Down by 2 touchdowns. I mean, they need it. Hand off to Collins, and he'll be brought down the backfield for a loss of 1 by the rookie, middle linebacker Jacob Frazier. Fraser, my bad. Must be Scottish. Marquise Collins once again running and getting stopped in the backfield. And there's DeMarcus Gladney. 3rd and 12. I mean, you can have faith in your run game and in your running backs, but with these receivers, it almost feels wasted. I mean, maybe more pass plays to the running backs for Memphis. I mean, they started off so strong. Another interception, this time by Gladney. And that's nail in the coffin. If I'm Raleigh, I'm running it multiple times and just running out this clock. Wow. Big mistakes, and I feel like that was called. That was predicted by Logan, that they will capitalize on the mistakes of Memphis. And so they have. I mean, more penalties against Memphis. You know, More interceptions and turnovers in general from Memphis. All you got to do is play solid ball. Wow. I mean, most of those yards are from huge catches, but almost 400 yards today from Jake Britton. Nice tackle there. Britton with the toss to Colvin, and it looks like the defender didn't want to tackle him at first. That's Adrian Adkins there, just kind of turning into a board. And with a field goal here, which I expect, yep, that is icing on the cake. Sends it straight through. 42 yards is nothing to Nate the Great Gilroy. Another kickoff from Raleigh to Torrey Wade. Let's see what kind of kickoff this one will be. Torrey Wade breaking the first tackle, bringing it past the 25, up to the 26. Memphis getting better at these kick returns. Dropping back is Weathers. Plenty of time, looking deep. Jalen Sawyer coming through when they need him most. Gain of 35. And although the game's all but over, you see a glimmer of hope for Memphis here late in the fourth. Collins with a gain of 6. I mean, I feel like that's the first time in a while that Collins has not just been stuffed in the backfield. Collins not doing too shabby today. Weathers slinging it to the right to Baker. First down. And DeMarcus Hughes will once again come in as relief for Robert Hale. But this is when you want to capitalize. If you are Memphis, you want to capitalize on those guys not being in. Weathers dropping back. Almost got sacked there, but was able to dump it off to Marquise Collins. Clock is ticking. Weathers looking to his left, almost picked off again. Scary stuff there. That was off the hands of Nick Cagle, maybe? Amari Lawson. It was Amari Lawson. My bad. Whoa. Almost picked off again. I mean, you have to go for a touchdown here. You have no choice. I mean, why not? You know? Weathers, quick throw, and Finch will keep himself in bounds. I think that was the first catch we saw today from Theo Finch, Georgia, former Georgia Bulldog. Born and raised in Georgia. Weathers. Ooh, cutting it close. Flag on the play. Torrey Wade gained 10 yards. And he pushed off. Oh. These penalties and mistakes, eating them alive. And that's 5 penalties that were accepted, 6 that were called against them. I mean, come on, Memphis. You hate to see games just given away by a team. Great catch by Torrey Wade to redeem himself, get them back inside the 10. Clock still ticking. And what do you do here if you're Memphis? I mean, you run it as the quarterback. Picked off. Stephen Dunn. Second time. I mean, Weathers had plenty of time to run. He had great coverage. He had a lane open up the middle. And there's a pick by Dunn. And this is when you run the clock out. If you're Raleigh, you draw all 3 timeouts from Memphis with George Colvin. I mean, woo, look at that yards per rush, though. I mean, 9 yards. Crazy. Surprised they didn't let it tick down to 2. Colvin will get a first down there. And here we are at the 2-minute warning, and this game is pretty much over. Memphis looked great in the first half. If games were only 20 minutes long, then Memphis would have won this game. But luckily for Raleigh, third quarters exist and fourth quarters exist. Colvin continuing to embarrass this defense in the second half. Memphis calling their first timeout. Colvin gaining 2 yards, burning Memphis's second timeout. It's not long before we see victory formation. Next week, Memphis will go into Virginia and face Virginia Beach. And Raleigh will remain at home and face the Rockets. 2 Virginia teams next week for both of these teams to face. So we'll see how that one goes for both of these teams. See if Raleigh can keep their wins alive or if Memphis can rebound from this loss. Another defensive penalty. That's like 7 penalties called against Memphis today. I kid you not. And how about today, guys? I mean, I'm not the last game of today. You have Louisville at St. Louis coming up next. If they're not already playing, they might be already playing. So tune into that one. And Vancouver at Portland, where the Mountaineers take on the Grizzlies. Close off the day. And one more kneel from Britain will about do it. Here we go. And there it is. What a game. What a game. What a game. That's all I can say, really. Let's see who the players of the game are. Obviously, George Colvin and Stephen Dunn. I mean, look at that third quarter. 14 points unanswered. Followed by what I think was another 7 points unanswered. So 21 points unanswered. Crazy from Raleigh. A lot more pass attempts from Weathers. Might have been what gave them that loss. And then Britain, of course, those huge plays. Ball, look at that, Tremaine Ball with 13 tackles for Memphis. Weathers being the player of the game there. Playmaker and bringer of destruction for Memphis. Collins not getting a lot. 89 yards rushing. Colvin, I mean, opposite. 145 yards. Marcellus Walker, 6 catches, 158 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, Walker's probably the player of the game. Colvin did great with 53 receiving yards and another touchdown. Yeah, never mind. Colvin had more all-purpose yards. Collins also, you know, they lived and died by Weathers and Collins today. Look at Stephen Dunn. What a great day today from him. Gladney, 3 defended passes. I mean, 2 sacks from Hale, 2 sacks from Moss on the Memphis side. Wow. You know, a lot of stats today. Let's look at the team stats. Great job there. Looks like Raleigh was just able to do just a little better. I think those 3 turnovers and those 7 penalties against Memphis are really what did it. You know? Explosive plays on both ends. Let's look at the player stats here. Jesse Lane doing his part. Bird not really doing much. Great defensive stats today. What a great start to my commentating this season. Am I right, guys? I mean, if I commentate games like this all the time, I'll never be bored. Heavy reliance on George Colvin. Look at all those players with 1 reception. Great showing from rookie Jacob Frazier. I mean, come on. Love to see, what? A tackle from Kyle Heller. Also former Mariner, backup quarterback. Interesting. I did not see him get a tackle. I wonder where he was subbed in. All right, 4 field goals from Gilroy. Look at that. As expected. Well, what a great game. As I'm sure there are many more ahead of us. Week 1, I am commentating 3 of them this week. So, tune into those. Tune into all of them. You know, there's my closing remarks. My name is Reed Option. And here at the NAGA, we will see you next time.